Good morning. My name is Jason with the Ministry of Righteousness, and I'm excited to be with you here today. Have a message that's just been stirring upon my heart, and I want to speak to you from the heart about mindset. I think that it's so important in this day and age when we have so many different influencers which are trying to influence our mind, that we know that we have a safe place and where that safe place is. So let's begin. So in the book of Romans chapter 8, Paul is telling us about a couple of different mindsets and two different laws. The first law is the law of the spirit of life in Christ, and the second law is the law of sin and death. Okay, and he goes on to describe this paradigm as it being really about your mindset, what it is that your mind is set on. And so as a believer in Jesus Christ, you need to understand that your spirit has been made completely new. Your human spirit, right? When we were in Adam, we had a human spirit that was dead to God and it was alive to sin. And all that we could do is bear fruit to sin. That was our nature. That was at the very core fabric of who we were. It was in rebellion, it was set up against God. Or as Paul would say in the book of Romans, that the carnal mind that we had was enmity against God. Couldn't submit to God, couldn't receive life from God, and therefore those who were in the flesh could not please God. See, God is the source of life. He's the one who gives life to us. He is the one who provides each and every need, and apart from him there is no life. What we get tricked into in this world is to believe that there's some other way to do it apart from God. And so we come up with all sorts of different ideas like, self-improvement or self-help or behavior modification or, going to rehab facility. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm all about getting clean and sober, right? I think that those things are wonderful things. However, none of those produce life. And what you end up finding is that people, even after they become sober or whatever it is, they're stuck in this place of mindset. So, back to the main thing. Paul has given us two different mindsets. He actually says that the mindset on the flesh produces death and that the mindset on the spirit produces life and peace. Now, when we're talking about a mindset on flesh, I would like to propose something to you that perhaps this mindset on flesh is actually on dead things, being dead works. It produces no life. There's no life that can come from it. It's an impossibility, and it actually produces death. There's no life that can come from anything outside of the creator of life, and that's sourced from him. One of the false ideas that we get is that somehow, in some way, that life can come from creation. But see, life doesn't come from creation. Life comes from the creator. Creation cannot impart life to creation. Creator imparts life to creation. And God has united us together with Jesus Christ, and he's seated us together with him in heavenly places. So when we look at a brand new spirit that God has given us, there's something that's really important with that spirit that he has also given us, which is a brand new heart. God changed our want to. See, before we didn't have a want to, we didn't have a desire to obey God. We didn't have a desire to be obedient to faith and to trust and to have faith in something that was outside of ourselves. In fact, the whole entire world, as we see it today, it's got this emphasis upon training your mind. It's bringing your mind into a set of ideas, right? It's training your mind in the education system. It's training your mind when we look at influencers that are saying that you should look like this or that you should look like that. It's all influencing the mind. And the mind is a very unstable place to live from. I don't know if you guys have experienced that. I know I personally have experienced that. The mind is not a very stable place to live from. As a matter of fact, a lot of our mindset, when we have our mindset on the flesh, it goes like this, up and down and up and down, and then we end up finding out in the end that it bears no life. So what is the answer? Could there be a place where God has actually given us a constant, Could there be a place where he is our full sufficiency? Is really the Christian life supposed to be this, woe is me, I'm a sinful man, I'm not worthy of anything, and I really don't even understand what God did for me, so I'm just going to try harder, right? We think that life is found in the scriptures, and while the scriptures are telling us about life, the life is actually found in a person. So I want to encourage you guys, break free from religious tradition, because religious tradition really can send a very false message about the truth that will actually set you free. See, God has united us spirit to spirit with his spirit. And the cool thing about that is because he is overcome, because he is righteous, because he is holy, because he is perfect, because he is fully sufficient life, by uniting us spirit to spirit with him, he's actually given us his full sufficiency. The question today would be, is the life of Jesus enough for you? And I would be willing to say yes. The life of Jesus is more than fully sufficient for all of us. Now, how do we bring our mindset into a place of a constant? That's a great question. I believe that we bring the mindset into a state of a constant by bringing our mindset, rather than on the things of the world, on the influencers, on all of the noise, on the latest sermon, on the latest music, on the latest news, on any of that stuff. That would be the flesh. Those would be the influencers. Those are external forces, but you are not those external forces. So the place of constant actually comes by living from this new spiritual heart that God has given you in Christ. And what we do is we bring our mind set into the things of the Spirit. The mindset on the flesh produces death and no life, but the mindset on the Spirit produces life and peace. Brothers and sisters, the invitation today is to come into alignment with what God has written upon your heart and to receive abundant, everlasting resurrection life as you live spirit to spirit with Jesus Christ. This will break down the fear of man. It breaks down religious tradition. It breaks down all of the garbage of self-improvement and behavior modification and all of these things. And it actually asks the question, and it begs us to ask the question, what is written upon your brand new heart that God gave you? And if God writ his desires upon our heart, perhaps it's not about us trying to figure it out. Perhaps it's not about us going on a long, arduous journey to try to self-improve and to try to become more spiritual. As a matter of fact, I see it often that a lot of the time the things which are being taught have an emphasis upon your mind to try to do something that God has already done for you. So again, the invitation today is to fall back into a place of rest. Believe God, right? He said that he's going to care for us. He says that he's united us to life. He says that he is the life. He said that he's given us his full sufficiency. And so in simplest forms, all we do is we say, I agree with you. Yes, I agree with you. And because you are my very life, I'm going to let you be life to me. I'm going to let you be full sufficiency for me. I'm going to let you care for me because that's what you've promised to do. And so in that place, we find ourselves united with Christ, spirit to spirit, and we start to live from a different dimension, which God has given us to enjoy our relationship with him. Not to feel in a deficit with God. We're not in a deficit with God. God already took all of the legal requirements out of the way, having crucified Jesus upon the cross. But Jesus didn't stay on the cross. On the third day, he was raised to newness of life with resurrection power. And we're told that this same life that it is that Jesus was raised by is what it is that God has imparted to us and imputed to us as well. And so, brothers and sisters, today, will we fall back and just rest in all that God has done, trusting in this place of union where God has united us together, spirit to spirit from the heart, and to live in the fullness of the children of God. Brothers and sisters, the gospel is not what it is that we do for God. The gospel is what God has done for you. God bless you guys. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. We'll talk to you soon.